like to welcome everyone to the third Aaron Coleman Town Hall. Um, and I really appreciate Aaron doing these with us because I don't know many representatives that do town halls and talk about the bills that they try to submit and, inform others in their community about those bills. So how you doing tonight, Aaron?
I'm doing well, Gavin. Thank you for having me. It's very chilly outside. I hope everybody's staying warm.
Oh yeah, it's a whole like 2 degrees out or something like that in the single digits. So that's always nice. Um, so really, I'll just kind of get into them. First, we'll start. I know this is going to be real exciting. I know these bills may not be too exciting to most people, but I think they do kind of help people that might be in these situations. I know the first one I think is about tow lots. It's called HB 2216, if I'm correct.
Yes,
Um,
HB 2216. Yep.
yeah, and so I guess my first question is there does it I guess does it put a limit on how much an individual could be charged to be towed?
Yes, it is $150 per tow maximum.
Nice. And so I guess I know some people are concerned that I've seen on Facebook when you've posted about this, let's say someone's in a ditch or maybe the tow company has to use some special equipment for the vehicle that they're towing. Are there any exemptions put into this so that tow lots can be compensated properly for the time they're putting in when having to, I guess, tow people?
Yes, there's actually three different exemptions where they can charge more than the $150 fee. Number one is if it's over a certain weight of class, if it's just weighs too much. You usually won't see that for a commercial vehicle, so it's over $10,000. Two 10,000 pounds, they can charge more than the $150. If there's certain something about the spatial dimensions where they have to retrieve the vehicle from, or if there's just then a third reason, if it's just generic, if there's just some sort of broad reason why the tow is more difficult, then they can go ahead and charge more than the $150. But if this is just a tow where you're flat on pavement, on the shoulder of the road, you're not going to get charged more than $150 for that hookup fee.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Hold on. Is that me? Did you hear that through? Okay, never mind. Ignore me. So I guess is there a daily cap? Does this bill set a daily cap on what can be charged to a car owner, for having their car stored at the tow lot?
Yes, absolutely. Currently right now it's like the wild, wild west, and they can charge you $200. I've heard some stories a day. This bill would cap it at $25 a day for outdoor storage, or $35 a day if it's being stored indoors.
Very nice, very nice. That seems reasonable. Man, $200 a day. That just sounds like if your car is in the lot for 30 days,
Oh,
you're looking at thousands of dollars, and at that point, you might even just go buy a new car,
oh yeah,
depending on what it
absolutely.
is.
No, what really inspired me to push this legislation is I have a friend who to get his truck back. He had it up there for about 30 days. They went to court, but it was 30 days. They wanted $10,000. The truck wasn't even worth anywhere near that. He just gave up, and they took his truck, auctioned it off. It's horrible. It happens to far too many people. They just lose their car, and never get it back.
Yeah, no, definitely. I could definitely see that being a problem. So is there a limit on what tow companies can charge per mile? Because that is something to think about when the initial charge of the $150, but if they have to tow it from a distance, is there what's the compensation for that capped at?
Yeah, that's another problem we run into where I've heard horror stories where they're charging you 20 $20 a mile or possibly more, starting off at the very first mile. In this bill, you get your first 20 miles round trip free. And after those first 20 miles, they can charge you up to $3 a mile.
Yeah, that's not bad. That seems reasonable, I'd say. So I guess overall, this maybe isn't as exciting as, healthcare bill or, decriminalizing bill for, like cannabis and other things that we've seen in the news. But I guess what was your main goal for drafting this bill? Because it does seem like it would help the average person. So I guess what was your main goal for this?
What really inspired me for this bill is I did some research into what regulation exists with tow lots, what exists with tow drivers, and currently there's nothing. It's like the wild west, and they can self-regulate. And in fact, looking through some research I did, these tow lots have every incentive to screw over consumers, because I investigated this, and usually what they'll try to do is they'll, like happened with my friend, where they want $10,000 to get his truck out of the tow lot. What they do, and they want to set high because what they want to do is they're going to auction it off. And I've seen this. If the owner of the tow lot has a buddy who is a used car dealership, they're gonna auction it off to their friends, get a little kickback, I'm sure. But that it's a racket. It really is. So this is going to be, it's going to leave some room for profit for the tow lots, but it's also going to make sure horror stories where somebody, gets their car towed, they're not going to be paying $10,000 to get their car back.
Very nice. No, that does seem reasonable, because the way you're kind of explaining it does sound kind of like it could become a racketeer kind of, setup on that front. So I guess we'll go into the next one, which kind of, has to do with vehicles still. It has to do with car dealerships, I believe, if that's correct. I think, is this one RS 0991?
Yes. I mean, that was the RS number, but it actually has been assigned a House Bill number, and that's House Bill 2341.
Very nice. Very nice. I guess I should have looked that up. My bad on that. So I guess what kind of restrictions are in place currently for car dealerships, or what like restrictions will this put on car dealerships, I guess, or if any?
Well, currently what car dealerships have right now is something called territory restrictions, which basically says you have a 40-mile radius and no other car dealership can set up shop within those 40 miles. It's basically just giving car dealerships a monopoly. You can't have your competition set up across the street, which usually in the normal free market, you have competition, and that lowers prices. Well, if you're letting car dealerships have a 40-mile radius where no other car dealership can set up shop, that's an artificial monopoly. So basically, the very first change I made in this consumer protections car dealership bill is I eliminated car dealerships' territory restrictions, because I want consumers to have the option of going to wherever they want to go. If they want to go to the car dealership across the street, not the other one, that should be allowed. They shouldn't have to go one car dealership and then there's another one away 40 miles away. That shouldn't happen. It's a monopoly. It raises prices. I eliminated it.
Very nice. Yeah, and well, and the competition, will help lower prices for consumers, I'd feel, instead of, them knowing that they're the only car dealership within a certain radius that people can go to. So some people might be forced to just get their vehicle there. So I guess, does this bill, I kind of looked into it. Does this bill kind of does it allow car manufacturers the ability to sell cars?
Absolutely, yeah. This car allows car manufacturer direct sales. And the reason I felt this provision needs to be added is because, I've only, bought a car maybe once in my life, but who wants to go to a car dealership? You're going to have to deal with some sleazy salesman. You know what? I added direct sales from the manufacturer because I'd rather go on Ford's website or go on to Toyota's website. Why can't I order directly from them? Cut out the middleman. Why do I want to go to a car dealership? I don't really need to drive it around to test drive it or nothing. Let me just go online, buy my car gets shipped to me. It's fine. And this is, honestly, this proposal is going to help with renewable cars, electric cars, because Tulsa, they don't have car dealerships. So in the state of Kansas, they've been having a hard time selling these electric cars. Now, if this bill passes, they're going to be able to sell their cars online directly to the consumer, cut out the middleman, which once again is going to lower prices for the consumer.
Very nice, very nice. How about, does this I was reading and I seen that this this bill does address car loan rates, and I actually was reading that, some car loans can be up to 25% on their interest, which sounds ridiculous. I would obviously never do that, but some people might be forced to. What kind of loan rates would this stipulate, they could be, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's changed over the years. People used to just pay cash down to buy a car. Now everybody has a loan. It's financed 36 months, 52 months, 72 months. These car loans are getting longer and longer, and that interest rate is really screwing people. And you have to have a really great credit score to get a car loan below 10%. I'm hearing law, especially now, I think it's like 15% is like the standard rate for a car loan. These banks, they see a sorry soul and they try to charge them 25% interest on the car loan. It's ridiculous. So this bill is gonna limit it to 10% interest a year, because people are getting screwed, and it's crazy that they're getting taken advantage of. So they get 10% max interest a year.
Oh, very nice, very nice. And that does seem reasonable. I mean, that's still a little high for my taste, but when reading that it could be up to 25%, 10% looks a lot better to me if I was having to choose between the two. And really, that's all I have for my questions. I was looking at the chat and I seen that this has more to do with the tow lot bill. And someone was curious, is for the free 20 miles of towing reasonable? What covers the cost for the tow company for having to do that 20 miles free? And I guess I don't know. Would you have a reasonable response?
Well, they're getting paid for the $150 for the hookup fee, and if there's anything, if they had to use any special equipment, or had any special dimensions on the tow, then they can charge more on the $100 fee. So I think the $100 fee, if they're going 18 miles, I think that's pretty reasonable.
$150.
Yeah, 150. Yeah, 100. Yeah, excuse me, $150 just to tow at 19 miles. Anything over 20 miles, then they get towed at $3 a mile.
Definitely. Let me peruse to see if maybe there are any other questions. Is there maybe anything else you might want to talk about about these bills?
Yeah, this tow lot bill, it's based on other states. Those states who, like California, for example, they're where they cap it. It's a lot more restrictive than the numbers I've put at. So I feel like, $150 just to hook it up and take it to the tow lot, I think that's easy money. You know what I mean? But I don't really have much else to add. But I do think we need to look in Kansas, because a big problem in Kansas is the laws in the book, if there even is any laws, favor the manufacturer or the producer or the distributor. They don't favor the consumer. And a big problem, especially like with the tow lot bill that I encountered, is if there's nothing on the books, that's a default assumption in favor of the business. So in this case, they can charge you $10,000 a day if they really felt it necessary, or $10,000 to hook it up. I mean, it wouldn't be unheard of for them to do that. So
the billing is left up to the company. There aren't any laws currently in place that, I guess, put restrictions on it. It is kind of open to interpretation on that front, I guess. Whatever the company wants is what they can do. Which, and thinking about that, right now during a pandemic, people aren't working as much. That can be actually, life changing if you can't afford to get your vehicle out because you have no way to pay for it. So I can definitely see how protections like this would be good for the consumer, that is.
Right, and there's actually now that I'm thinking about it, there's some other things the tow lot bill does as well. Is in the tow lot bill it defines a 24-hour period as 24 hours, because currently there's nothing stopping them from saying a 24-hour period is actually 8 hours. And I've heard stories where somebody's had their car, in the tow lot for a day, get charged for 3 or 4 days because they define, according to the business, a 24-hour period is 8 hours or 6 hours. No, in this bill, it's because, like I said, if there's no rules, it doesn't exist. Now in this bill, it says 24 hours is 24 hours. You can't say 6 hours is 24 hours. No, 24 hours is 24 hours. And another thing that this bill does is a lot of tow lots, they'll just be open for 1 hour. They'll be open for 2 hours. Or they might not even be open that day. This bill says you can only get charged that 24-hour charge if that tow lot was open for at least 4 hours on that day. So a lot of tow lots are not open on Sundays. Sorry, you can't charge the person 24 hours on Sunday if you're not open that 4 hours on Sunday, because the person didn't have the opportunity to come pick their vehicle up.
Very nice. Very nice. Let me see if there's anything else maybe in the chat that I could ask. I mean, no, it doesn't really look like there's too much, just, some people talking, but no real questions. I guess, is there anything else you might want to add to those bills? I know they're not as juicy and I guess, broad as some of the other ones, but I think they are good because, they do protect the consumer, which is just the average person. Oh, no, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I would just say, contact your state representatives, contact other people's state representatives. And if you want the bill numbers, email them, call them. But the bill numbers are, for the tow lot bill, it's HB 2216. So that's the tow lot bill, HB 2216. And if you want to go ahead and email people or make phone calls about the car dealership bill, that one is HB 2341. So that's HB 2341. And you can call state representatives, anybody, if you don't even have to live in the district. If you want to send out a mass email to all 125 state reps, bless your heart. I mean, people need to hear that this is an important issue. People need to know that when you go buy a car, you don't want to get price gouged when you buy that car. You want to have options when you buy that car. And the same thing with the tow lots. You don't want to get taken advantage of, because who knows when we're going to get towed. A lot of the tows that I hear about come from private property. What if you parked your car, you went to the shopping mall. Okay, you come back, your car is gone. You don't know where your car is. You call the little sign that says call the number. Oh no, your car, you go to pick up your car the same day. $10,000. They want it right away to get your car back. It's a horror story. So there needs to be some sort of regulation. So call your state representatives and tell them that this bill needs to come up.
Definitely. I do like the car dealership one with the manufacturer's ability is to sell cars, because actually I didn't really know that manufacturers couldn't until Tesla actually started making vehicles, and then they actually had a little bit of a holdup because they had to make Tesla dealerships in order for people to get their vehicles.
Yeah.
And so this would actually make it so I feel like the average consumer would be able to get energy efficient vehicles a lot easier than having to and they're already pretty expensive from what I've been looking. So being able to buy from the manufacturer would I think get more people on board with buying energy efficient vehicles.
Absolutely.
So, and I guess with that, let me do someone was asking if we can post the bills online somewhere. I think if you go and look on, I think that Aaron Coleman for Kansas, have you posted about those two bills on there?
Yeah, here, let me see. Let me see if I can put the bills in the chat. Let me put the bills in the chat. Let me see.
It was just so they could call about them, but I think.
I'm trying to put the bills in the chat. Let me see if I can do this. Okay, yeah, I'm putting the first bill in the chat. Let me see.
And just to answer, I don't think this is specifically for electric cars, this is for both sets of vehicles. It's just Tesla creating the electronic cars had some hangups trying to sell them because they are a manufacturer. Manufacturers are not normally allowed to sell vehicles straight to consumers. Dealerships are the ones who do that. So because Tesla in the beginning didn't have Tesla dealerships, people couldn't just readily buy their vehicles. And so Aaron's bill would make it so Tesla or other companies that maybe made electric vehicles that didn't have dealerships would be able to sell them to the consumers. So I don't think it was necessarily, and you can correct me, I don't think this was necessarily made just for electric cars, but it's more so just to give consumers a better chance to get a better vehicle. Or I guess an easier chance.
Yeah, no,
whatever.
this applies to any car manufacturer because, like I was saying, if I want to buy a nice Toyota or I want to buy a Ford, if I want to buy a GM, you know, I got my mind made up on what car I want. I don't want to go to a dealership and deal with some sleazy salesman. I want to go to Ford.com or Toyota.com. Let me just buy directly from them. You know, maybe they'll give me a little discount since I'm cutting out the middleman. You know, that's how I want to. I think that's the future of buying cars. You go online, pick out your model, pick out your paint, and they ship the car to your door. You know, I think a lot of things are a lot easier to buy online, including cars.
No, definitely. I actually do like that idea. So I guess with that, I get and I think it's coming up on a little bit past the. I know we started a little late, but it's about the 30-minute mark. We have answered some questions in the chat. So I think with that, we'll end the Aaron Coleman's third town hall, and I appreciate you being here. And I hope to. Are there any other upcoming bills that we're going to talk about, or are you in a next town hall perhaps?
Yeah, I mean, let me see. There's a couple. There's 3 other bills that we have yet to talk about on the town hall. One bill that we're going to be talking about coming up is basically I want to mandate lobbyists to wear a body camera and make the recording of that body camera public, so members of the public can see what these lobbyists are saying when they try to push their corporate agenda. So that's one bill we're going to be talking about coming up. Another bill that we're going to talk about coming up is I want to give you $500 a month. Every month, we're going to send you $500. You know, it's going to direct deposit in your bank account if you got direct deposit set up. I want to send you $500 a month for life. And I'm going to pay for it by penalizing pollution. And with the revenue from fines on pollution, I'm going to send you that $500 a month. So that's a second bill that we're going to talk about coming up. And then the last bill, which has already been released, is decriminalizing all drugs. You know, I truly believe that drug use is a mental health problem and not a criminal one. So it needs to be treated like one. So that's another bill we're going to talk about coming up. So there's 3 bills. You know, I wrote 7 bills this session. Today we talked about 2 of them. You know, we talked about previously, you can look at the recording, we talked about Ern's Law and the minimum wage bill. So we're almost done. We got 3 more bills to discuss, and I hope everybody would join us for those conversations.
Very nice, very nice. And I guess with that, we will adjourn the Aaron Coleman's third town hall. I appreciate you for being here, Aaron, and I can't wait to hear the next one.
Thank you, Gavin. It was a pleasure to be here.
Yep. Good night, everyone.
All right. Night.
It's